Okay, now the next set of exercises is going to take a look at creating special effects inside Photoshop. And there's lots and lots of cool techniques to show you. I want to show you how you can create eye-popping black and white images, and I want to show you a handful of effect commands like invert and posterize and so on. And I want to show you some glow effects and all kinds of great stuff. And I'm going to start off with sort of a simpler set of special effect commands here inside Photoshop. Commands that most people don't think to use, but I mean, I use them quite often actually. So what I'm going to do here to start off is I'm going to go ahead and open up a file. Go ahead and choose File, Open if you like, or hit Command O or Control O, or double click on your gray background there in Photoshop. That's fine. Head into your Project Files folder and go ahead and grab an image. You can grab whatever image you want. I'm going to grab apples.jpg out of the project files folder and pop this guy open. Okay, now the first command that I want to show you is a command called invert. And this is kind of a cool effect if you want to create almost like a photographic negative of an image. And I'll show you where this guy's hidden here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to head up to the image menu, and then down to adjustments, and then look for invert, or there's my keyboard shortcut Command I or Control I on the Windows side. So go ahead and choose that guy. And of course, what happens here is we now get this photographic negative of our image, which is kind of cool, right? I can think of a couple of different areas or different situations where I would use this effect here. If you want to try out this effect on another image, go for it. Maybe what I'll do here real quick for you is I'll go and pop open another project file, Command O or Control O. And maybe what I'll do is I'll grab barn1.jpg this time. Open this guy up. And again, you could head to the image menu and then down to adjustments and then down to invert. Or I'm going to use my keyboard shortcut Command I or Control I, and there's my photographic negative. Pretty cool. All right, so there you go. So there's your invert command. Now, the next guy that I want to show you is called posterize, and this guy's kind of cool. What I'm going to do, though, before I get into this command, is I want to take my two photographs, the apples and the barns, and I want to get them back to the sort of the state that they were in when I first opened them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit F12 on my keyboard, and what that does is that reverts the file back, basically undoes that invert command there. Go ahead and do the same on your other files if you have some other files open. So posterize, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to head to the image menu once again. I'm going to use my apples photograph for this. And then down to adjustments, and then look for posterize. He's found just below the invert command. Go ahead and choose this guy. And what we wind up with is this dialog box here, the posterize dialog box. Make sure your preview checkbox is turned on. And then we have this slider, this levels slider. And what this guy does is introduces additional colors or removes colors from the photo. So right now I'm set on level 4. That's the default, as you can see there. So I have 4 colors inside my photograph now. Kind of looks sort of, 1970s space rock. How's that? Pretty cool. All right. I'm going to crank this up a little bit here now into the 30s and 40s and 50s. And, it doesn't look any different from the original. But I could drag this way down, maybe into, 3 or 4 or something. And suddenly I'm reminded of some, Rush videos from the early 1980s, maybe. But anyway, there you go. There's your posterize command. Kind of cool. Anyway, so you can choose to lock that in by clicking on OK. That's great. And, again, if you want to try that out on another image, go for it. I'll just do this real quick here for you so you can try this out. Again, every once in a while, this kind of an effect, comes in handy. Maybe I'm creating a poster or, I want to create some kind of an oddball effect or something like this, right? Sometimes you get some really cool effects. Other times it's kind of lame. This is, kind of getting a little lame here, so I'm just going to cancel that. But anyway, I'm going to go back to my apples there. I'm going to undo all of this once again just by hitting F12 on my keyboard. By the way, hitting F12 is the same as choosing File and then Revert. There's my grayed out Revert command. So all you're doing is you're reverting your file back. There's one more command I want to show you here in sort of this handful of of initial special effects that I wanted to show you. And this command is called threshold. So I'm going to head back to the image menu, back down to adjustments, and now look for a command called threshold. And now we get this dialog box, the threshold dialog box. And what I see inside the dialog box is our histogram. And what I can do is I can drag this histogram slider around inside the image. And as you can see, the image has been reduced to just two colors, solid black and solid white. So if I want to remove the black and introduce more white, I can drag to the left. Or if I want to bring in more black and reduce the white, I can drag to the right there. So anyway, this is probably not the greatest example to show you the threshold, but again, every once in a while, this kind of an effect comes in handy. Maybe I'm going to combine threshold with a couple of Photoshop filters or something like this. So anyway, again, another command that you can keep in mind as you're messing around inside Photoshop. And I'm just going to show you my threshold here on the barn. Maybe this is a bit of a better example here. Maybe something like that, right? Maybe I want sort of a, like an inked drawing look, or sort of a, like an inked effect anyway. So there we go. There's your threshold command. I wanted to show you the invert command and the posterize command and also the threshold command. Now that you've seen those guys, now let's get into some additional special effects in Photoshop. Let's check this out.